Well, hello, Felicia.
Hello, Fresh.
What are you going to show us how to make today?
Today we're going to make ornaments. We're going to make two
Really?
different kinds.
What kind of ornaments?
We're going to make glitter ornaments
Really?
and we're going to make wood ornaments.
Can I wear these as earrings, perhaps?
You probably could.
Too heavy.
He would do that.
All right, so what's involved in these things? Is it crazy?
No, it's fairly simple, to be honest. We've got these glitter ornaments. They're just plastic, shatterproof, which is brilliant, to be honest. Ornaments that we fill with polyacrylic.
They look like glass.
They do. They look great, don't they, for shatterproof?
It really does,
I mean, it's amazing. So these are filled with polyacrylic and glitter, and then vinyl cut on the Cricut machine to decorate them with. And then these are wood ornaments that we've stained and then added black chalk paint and vinyl to them.
How long? About a half hour each?
Oh, easy, yeah.
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 Okay.
They're very fast, very quick, easy to do.
Well, it's very generous. You're going to show people how to do this for free?
Yeah, absolutely. Why
You're
not?
a good person. High five.
Woo.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Over in Cricut Design Space software, we are going to start with a blank canvas and we're going to create our ornaments or the images and the text that we want to put on our ornaments. And remember, these are going to be personalized and we're going to make two different kinds of ornaments. We're going to make two that are glittered and two that are wood. The two that are glittered are going to be one is red and one is white. And then there will be two different wood ones, one where it's black on the bottom and a maple light colored wood color on the top, and then black on the bottom of the other one with more of a dark walnut on the top. So let's go ahead and get started first with our glitter ornaments. Now our ornaments are measuring just about 3 inches wide. So we're going to go ahead and make a circle on our canvas so that we can size our text and our fonts and our images down to fit within the space of our ornament. We won't cut those circles, but we'll use them as our guides. So let's go to the shapes on the left and select circle. By default, it comes in at 2 by 2. So we're going to change that to match more of our ornament size by going to the ribbon at the top where it says size, typing in 3 for width, hitting tab, and it proportionally adjusts the height. So now we have a circle that's 3 by 3. And I said we were going to make one red and one white. So let's go ahead and change the color of this first circle to red by going to the color box at the top and clicking red. And then let's go ahead and add text. So under the left navigation, click on the text icon and let's type in a C. And that's going to be our initial in the background of our ornament. And then we're going to add a text again. And this time we're going to type a name. And this one's going to be Caitlin. And we're going to place Caitlin on top of our circle. Now, those are not the fonts I want to use. So let's go ahead and click on the C. And let's go to font in the ribbon. And let's change our font for the C to, I already know I want to use one that starts with the word book. So we're going to go into System. And we're going to use Bookman Old Style. And we're going to scale that down by clicking on one of the boxes in the corners and scale that down to the size we think we want our C to be. All right, and then we're going to click on Caitlin and we're going to go back under font. And we're going to change the font for this one to something that starts with hello. And click on the font that we would like to use for this one. So here we have our C in one font and Caitlin in another. Now our ornament is going to be red, but the colors of the C and Caitlin are not going to be red. They're not going to be gray. So let's click on the C and let's go to our color box and let's change that to this light gray or silver color. And then let's go to Caitlin and select that and let's change that one to white. So this is what our ornament is going to look like. It's going to have a silver, it's going to be a foil type of silver. It's going to be shiny, and then Caitlin will be in white. So let's go ahead and click anywhere in the white space, click and drag to select all 3 layers and go to Align, Center Horizontally. Actually, let's do that one more time. Select all of them again and do Align, Center. So now we have our circle, our C and Caitlin all centered perfectly, and we are ready to create our second one. So we're going to select that whole thing, click and drag on it, right click and click duplicate and drag this one over. And we're going to do the same thing here, but this time we said that we were going to make a white ornament. So we're going to change the red ornament or the red circle from red to white. We're going to leave the C as silver, but we're going to change Caitlin to red. So we double click on Caitlin, go to the operation where it says basic cut and change the color to red. All right, but let's go ahead and also double click on Caitlin and change the name to Paige, which means that we need to change our initial in the background from C to P, and select all 3 of those layers and go to Align Center. All right, we're ready to go. That's all we're going to put on our ornaments. We're going to cut the C and the P out in a silver shiny vinyl, and then Caitlin in white and Paige in red, and we'll cut these and we'll add them to our ornaments, and we'll put a pretty bow on it, and you'll be all set. But let's go ahead, before we move on to cutting those 2, let's go ahead and design our wood ornaments. So under shapes, let's go back to the circle. And by default, again, it comes in as 2 by 2. So let's drag this out of the way here. Go to size, type a 3, and hit tab. All right, now this one was going to be a 2-tone ornament. The bottom half of the ornament is going to be black, and the top half of the ornament is going to be maple for this one. So we're going to change the color of our circle to black. And under shapes, we're going to add in a semicircle. And I'm going to hold the shift key down, go to one of the outer arrows or outer boxes in the corners where my arrow turns from a double arrow to a curved double arrow, and click and drag and see it's increasing incrementally. And I'm also going to go to the top where it says size, and I'm going to increase the height to 3. So now it matches the size of my bigger circle. I'm going to change the color of this one to the light maple color, so it's something that looks close to this one. Again, I am not going to cut these circles. This is just for visualization, so I get an idea of what my finished product is going to look like before I actually cut the materials. I'm going to go ahead and select both the semicircle and the circle and go to Align Center Horizontally. Now I'm going to add in a name. So I'm going to go to the text tool on the left, and I'm going to add the name Grant. Whoops. Grant. And I'm going to change that font color to white. I'm also going, so these were frilly fonts for Caitlin and Paige, but Grant is a guy, so we're going to make it more of a guy font. So we're going to go up under Font and System and type in the start of our font that we're going to use. And then we can scale that one down slightly and make it fit. Okay. All right. And then we're going to add an image for this one. So let's go under Images on the left, and let's type in snowflake and click the search box and find a snowflake that we like. Maybe it's this one, and click Add to Canvas and scale that guy down just a little bit to fit in our space, and change the color to white because we're going to cut this on white vinyl. Look how pretty that looks. We're going to select all of those layers, just click in the white space and click and drag around them and go to Align Center Horizontally. And that gives me an idea of what my image, my finished product is going to look like. I'm going to select all of those layers again and right click on it and click Duplicate. Drag that one down over here. Now the second one I said was going to be a dark walnut. So I'm going to click on that top semicircle that's kind of a maple color now and go to the color box and change that color by going to Advanced and changing it to more of a dark brown color, my dark walnut. And I'm going to double click on Grant, and I'm going to change the name to Evan. And maybe instead of a snowflake, I want a reindeer. So I'm going to delete that image and go to Images on the left and search for reindeer by typing reindeer in the search box and clicking the search icon. And I'm going to scroll down until I find a reindeer that I want to use, maybe this guy here, and click Add to Canvas. He comes in really large, so I'm going to scale him down with one of those boxes in the corners. Move him up so you can see him. And then I'm also going to go to the color box and change him to white. Select all of those layers for that ornament and go to Align Center Horizontally. So now I have a bit of an idea of what my images are going to look like before I actually go to cut them. And I'm going to cut these on my Cricut Joy this time. And I'm ready. I think I feel good about the way things are looking, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to send this to the Joy, but I said that I wasn't going to cut those colored circles or half circles. So on the layers menu to the right, I'm going to go to each one of those half circles and circles, and I'm going to click the eyeball next to them to hide them. So when I go to the layer, you can see them things start to disappear on my canvas. I'm just going to click on the eyeball for all of them, so that what I'm left with is the pieces and parts that I actually do want to cut. All right, and I colored them so that I would know which mats to put or which things would be combined onto a mat. So I have my Caitlin and my Paige, and one's in white and one's in red. And you can see, so I'm going to have 3 mats. I'm going to have Caitlin, Grant, Evan, Reindeer, and Snowflake all in white. The C and the P are going to cut on a silver, and then the third mat would be red for Paige. All right. So at the top in the gray bar, I'm going to make sure that I have my Joy selected from my drop-down list, and then I'm going to click on Make It. From here, it's going to show me my mats. So you can see this one is a gray silver color. So this is going to be my C and my P. And if I click down on the mats on the left, you can see I have a Snowflake, a Reindeer, Evan, Caitlin, and Grant. And I can pick these things up and I can move them around if I want. Or I can leave them where they are to save space. I can click on Grant, and I have a little bit of space here. When I click on Grant, I have an option to triple dots to move it or to hide it, or I can rotate it. So I could rotate that and move it up into this space here to save a little bit of vinyl. So that's what I did there. And then if I scroll down on the left, I see Paige. There's my red one. So I am ready to cut, and each one of these mats tells me about how big my vinyl needs to be. So this one is exactly 3 by almost 2. This one is 4.5 by just over 3. And the final one is just over 2 by just over 1. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and click Continue. It's going to make sure it's got a Bluetooth connection to my Cricut Joy. And I'm ready to start cutting. So the first one I'm going to cut are my C and P, which is going to be on my silver foil vinyl. So I'm going to go under Browse All Materials and click on the Search All Materials box and type in foil and click the search icon. And we're going to use adhesive foil. Click that and say Done. And I'm ready to load my mat and run it through my Joy. All right, so we've got our design space work done. Our designs are cut and ready to go. So now we need to create our ornaments. And we're going to go ahead and start with our glitter ornaments. And these are just clear plastic disc ornaments that I picked up at Michael's. And to get started, I'm just going to pop off the top and set that aside, just like that. And then the next thing you're going to need is polyacrylic. Now I use these plastic bottles. The link will be in the description. And I pour my polyacrylic from the container it comes in to this because it's a whole lot easier to pour from one of these squeeze bottles than it is from the big jar that it comes in. So I'm going to take my polyacrylic and my ornament. I'm just going to add some to the inside, and I'm just going to swish it around. I do not measure exactly how much I put in here. I just throw some in here and start swishing it around to get the entire inside covered. And then I take a Dixie cup and I pour the excess in here and I let it drain. So I go like this, swish it all around, get it all nice and covered in there, even the top. And once it's all ready to go, I let it sit and drain. And I'll just grab something to let that drain really good while I do the next one. So again, grab your ornament, grab your polyacrylic, squeeze some inside, and swish it around to get the entire inside of the ornament covered. I'll grab another Dixie cup, and I'll let this drain inside there. I'll let that drain for a couple of minutes before we start adding our glitter to it. All right, these have been draining for a few minutes now. So we're going to go ahead and grab one of them. And I've got a paper towel here, and I just wipe the top. And I'm going to take my glitter ornament, or my glitter. I've got white and red, and we'll start with the white one. I usually have a funnel, but I couldn't find it, so I'm going to use a Dixie cup, and I'm going to pour my glitter in there. And simply take my Dixie cup, make a funnel out of it, and pour my glitter inside, and start swishing that around. This is my favorite part. I think that this is very therapeutic, to be honest. I'm going to roll it around. I'm going to get the crown of the ornament as well. Make sure all of it's covered. Sometimes run it back through again, just because it's white, and I like to make sure that as much of the ornament is covered and as thick as I can get it. Swish that around really good. Make sure the top is done as well. So I'm just slowly pouring out the excess glitter into my Dixie cup. Tapping the excess out, and there you have it. There is my ornament. We'll set that one aside, put our excess glitter back into our bottle. And we'll do the same thing with the red. So I've got my red glitter. Pour some into my Dixie cup. Grab my ornament, and tap the top to dry anything off that's on the edge. Pour in my glitter and roll that around to cover the inside. Look how pretty that red glitter is, covering the inside. Swishing it around, make sure everything is covered. And then tap the excess out. And there you go. How pretty. All right, so pour my excess glitter back into my jar. My cup's out of the way, my glitter. And I'm going to open my squirt bottle of polyacrylic and put back my excess. And then set that aside as well. All right, so I like to leave my glitter ornaments to dry open for a while. And push my paper towel out of the way. And in order to put the vinyl on these, I like to grab a piece of duct tape. Not duct tape, but blue painter's tape. Give me a base to hold the ornament in place while I'm putting my glitter on, or my vinyl on. So we'll go ahead and do the red one first. All right. And the first thing we're going to put down is our initial we did in silver. Okay. So we did the white one. Let's see. Page is going to go with the white. So we need the P over with the white one and the C with the red one. So I'm going to grab some transfer tape. I've got my transfer tape here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off a piece. Take my transfer tape, add my C. Roll that off, and then position my C on my ornament. I'm going to grab my weeding tool. I got a couple little lumps in there. And if I'm real careful, I can lift that vinyl back up and put it in place. I can also squish it to get those bubbles out. All right. Now I have my C. So I'm going to go over and grab my Caitlin. I'm going to grab another piece of transfer tape. And I'm going to grab Caitlin without grabbing anything else. You can use your weeding tool to help press it down, or your scraper. Get that down real good. Flip that over and peel it off. Make sure it's stuck down really good. It's a delicate font, so you want to make sure that you are very careful because it's got tiny pieces to it, real thin cuts. So my dot doesn't want to stick. It's being finicky. All right. Set that aside, and now we have our Caitlin, and we're going to position that over our C. Press from the center out. And then remove our transfer tape. Be careful again with that font. This particular font has got very thin lines, so you really need to press down to get it to stick really well. And there it is. There's your personalized ornament. Now we can take our cap, squeeze the top, pop it in, and this one is ready to add our ribbon to it. We'll do the same thing with our white one. We'll grab our transfer tape. We're going to reuse our transfer tape. We're going to grab our P. Place that on our ornament. Smooth out any bubbles. And then use our transfer tape to grab our page, our name. Pull off our backing. Grab our ornament and add page. And there we have our white ornament done. We'll grab our cap and place it on top. And this one is now also ready for its ribbon. So we've got some white ribbon that we'll put on our red ribbon we'll put on our white ornament. And I'm going to measure this out at about 15 to 16 inches and cut that. And then I take my weeding tool and I lift the back edge up of this for just a second of the cap of the ornament. Tuck my ribbon underneath to keep it secure. Once I'm happy, I just tighten that back up. I create a bow around the neck of the ornament. This is where I like to use my duct tape, or my blue painter's tape, is actually flip it upside down, make my bow, 1 loop, 2 loops, flip it through, and tighten it up. Cut the tips off, and now I have my ornament. And we can do the same thing for the white one. And cut about a 15 to 16 inch piece of white ribbon. Cut that. Use my weeding tool to lift up the back just a little bit, just enough so I can tuck the ribbon underneath and then put that back down. They're about even. Squeeze those back into place and make my bow. Tie a loop around the crown, and 1 loop, 2 loops, and then through the middle, and then fluff my bow up the way I like it to look. And cut my ends. 1, oops, 2. And now I have both a red and a white glitter ornament, personalized, that I can add to a gift, or I could just give it as a gift. I can, whatever I want to do with it. It's gorgeous, right? Put those on the tree and it'll be cool. People love these. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the wood ornaments next. All right, so now we're going to take our wood ornaments, and we're going to stain both sides of each one. We're going to stain one using colonial maple stain, and we're going to stain the other using a dark walnut. So go ahead and, I've already shaken this can. Go ahead and open this up. I'm going to grab a pair of disposable gloves to protect my hands. And I'm going to grab a foam brush, and I'm simply going to dab a little bit of stain onto my brush and just rub that in everywhere. It soaks it in pretty quick. You really don't need very much stain whatsoever. Go around the entire thing. I even do the edge just because, well, personal preference, I suppose. And flip it over and go ahead and do the other side. And I'm going to brush off any excess that I might have. And this one is ready to dry. So we're just going to stand it up over here to dry. And we'll go ahead and put this stain away. And we will grab the next one. Open this one up. Grab our other foam brush and our ornament, and go ahead and stain this one as well. I would typically let these dry each side before I move on to painting the other side. But for just showing the example of how to make these and how simple and fast they are, I'm going to go ahead and just stand this up to dry while I do both sides. All right, so we'll let that one stand up to dry. And once they're dry, we'll come back and we will add the black chalk paint to the bottom half and then our vinyl. We'll be good to go. All right, now our wood ornaments are dried. And we have one again in dark walnut and we have one in colonial maple. So we're going to paint the bottom half of these black using some chalk paint. So I'm going to add some chalk paint to my paper plate here. And I'm going to use a foam brush to paint the bottom half. But before I do that, all right, you could use blue tape, frog tape, duct tape if you want, but this is a piece of removable vinyl. This is what I have found that works the best to mark my spot so that I keep the black on one side but don't get black on the other side. So I'm going to take my weeding tool. This is just a scrap piece of removable vinyl that I had laying around. And I'm going to split my ornament in half and lay this down. Make sure it's as straight as I can get it. If I want to be real picky about it, I could use my ruler and measure how much space I have on one side versus the other, and it's about perfect. So press that down really good, take some of my paint, and just paint the bottom half of my ornament. I've made so many of these that I actually ran out of the small 1-inch foam brushes. This is a 2-inch foam brush that I'm using. All right, so I got that one painted up. I'm gonna set that one down for just a second, and I'm gonna grab another piece of scrap removable vinyl. And I'm gonna peel that off the backing. And place that halfway on my ornament, as straight as I can get it. Oops, wrong half. I'm actually using the guides on my mat, my cutting mat, to get a straight line. And again, I will measure to make sure it's about the same on both sides. It's a little off, so I'm going to adjust that. Check it one more time. Close enough. No, that's crooked. So we need to adjust that for sure. I could use this one as a guide and mark it accordingly, as straight as I can get it. Let's see if this one's, oh, it looks pretty straight. All right, so press that one down too, and we'll grab some more ink or some more paint. Paint the bottom half black, like so. Definitely better with a smaller size foam brush, but again, I just ran out. All right, so once I've got that painted, all right. I'm going to take the lighter one that I did a second ago And I'm going to peel off that removable tape to reveal a straight line. I mean, how cool is that? I can't get that kind of straight line with painter's tape. And I'll do the same thing with the dark one. Look how perfect that is. All right, so we're going to let those dry for a little bit, and then we will add our lettering. All right, now that the black paint is dry, we're going to add our vinyl to it. Now, if you wanted to, you could take some polyacrylic and seal these with polyacrylic. In this case, for these, I'm not going to do that, but you can do that, and you'll just have to let them dry even more. So we're going to take a piece of transfer tape, and we're going to grab off of our white vinyl that we cut, the name Grant, and we're going to put Grant on one of them. I need to press that down a little bit firmer. All right, I'm going to take, oops, we missed our T, which is okay. This is a good experiment. You're just going to take and line that up with the rest of your letters on your transfer tape. Peel that right back off. All right, so we're going to add Grant to this ornament here. Line it up. Oops. Press it down firmly and peel off the transfer tape. And then in the maple area, let's go ahead and take the reindeer on this one, I suppose. Take the reindeer and add it to the top. Press that down real good, and then peel off our transfer tape. Do the same thing for the other one. Got the name Evan for the bottom half. Place that on our ornament. Press that in really good. Peel off our transfer tape. And last but not least, grab our snowflake. And place that on our ornament. Peel off our transfer tape. And then last but not least, let's take some buffalo plaid ribbon. We're going to cut 15 to 16 inches. And we're going to make a bow. So I'm just going to take it and take 2 loops. Flip them through to make a nice bow. I can do it this way. This is one way, okay? And I can hot glue it to the top. But there's also these slits in these ornaments that I have, so I could feed this through one side and then the other. Oops, if I can get it through. There we go. And I can tie my bow around it this way and not have to use any hot glue. And there you go. I'll do one more just to finish it off. And there we have it. We have our wood ornaments along with our plastic disc-filled glitter ornaments. Personalized, easy to make, easy to use as gift tags, ornaments, whatever it is you'd like to do. Easy project, great way to use your Cricut, and great thing that sells very well.